This little device basically runs our lives. It's our connection to, well, everything and everyone, and most of us would feel naked without it. For the better part of 2 decades, the smartphone has been the undisputed king of tech. It's become a digital Swiss Army knife, our camera, wallet, map, and the main way we talk to each other. It's so central to our lives that if aliens landed on Earth, they'd probably describe humans as creatures with glowing rectangles attached to their hands. But its reign might not last forever. In fact, there's a growing belief that our relationship with this device is about to fundamentally change. The whole idea of carrying a separate piece of glass and metal could eventually seem as outdated as a pager. The next technological revolution won't be something you hold in your hand, because the interface might just be you. Now, let's be clear, the smartphone is a modern marvel. From the very first iPhone to the latest foldables, its evolution has been relentless. We've hit a point of incredible refinement. The designs are slick, the cameras are mind-blowing, and they pack more power than the computers that sent us to the moon. But have you noticed that for the first time in a while, that evolution is starting to feel a little predictable? Every new model is just a slightly faster, slightly better version of the same glass slab. A better chip, a brighter screen, a few more megapixels. It's a pattern of small, iterative improvements, not a radical transformation. We're standing on a technological plateau. It's a beautiful, high-altitude plateau for sure, but a plateau nonetheless. This is a classic sign that a technology has matured. While innovation is still happening with things like folding screens and new materials, the core concept has stabilized. History shows that the next big leap forward usually doesn't come from making the same thing slightly better. The smartphone didn't emerge from a better flip phone, and the tech that succeeds it probably won't be a phone at all. So, what could be next? The future probably isn't one single device, but a blend of two big ideas that could reshape our relationship with tech: ambient computing and biometric integration. First up, ambient computing. Imagine technology that just blends into your environment, almost invisibly. This isn't about slapping more screens on your fridge or mirror. It's about having fewer screens, maybe none at all. Think of it like the background music in a coffee shop. It sets the vibe, but you don't have to actively manage it. It just works. The goal of ambient computing is to have the technology in our homes, cars, and cities work so seamlessly that we don't need a central remote to control it all. Your environment could start to anticipate your needs, with lights and temperature adjusting automatically. The building blocks are already being laid with the Internet of Things, IT, connecting billions of devices to the cloud. But if the world around you is the computer, how do you control it? That's where the second piece, biometric integration, comes in. And this goes way beyond just using your fingerprint to unlock a device. We're talking about a future where your own body becomes the interface. This could start with things we're already seeing, like advanced smart rings or discrete pins. But the long-term vision for many researchers includes things like augmented reality contact lenses that could overlay information directly onto your field of vision. Imagine seeing directions or notifications without ever looking down. The ultimate, and still highly experimental, form of this is the brain-computer interface, or BCI. While it's very much in its infancy today and faces huge hurdles, the goal is to one day allow direct communication between your thoughts and the digital world. When you combine these two concepts, an intelligent world and a seamless way to interact with it, the smartphone starts to look less like a necessity and more like a clumsy, transitional step. To see how profound this shift could be, let's just imagine what a day might look like in 2055. Keep in mind, this is purely speculative. You wake up, not to a jarring alarm, but to your room gradually brightening as the temperature adjusts to your ideal waking state. As you open your eyes, a gentle notification appears in your peripheral vision, maybe from an advanced wearable or future AR contact lens, showing a summary of your sleep quality. The information is just there, a subtle overlay on reality. You walk into the kitchen, and an ambient system, knowing your schedule and health goals, suggests a couple of breakfast options. You verbally confirm what you want, and the automated kitchen gets to work. While you eat, you listen to your messages, which are streamed privately through a tiny, discreet earpiece. You reply just by talking, like you're in a normal conversation. Time for work. An autonomous vehicle is already waiting, timed perfectly to your routine. During the ride, you could join a meeting where a holographic projection of your colleague appears in the seat across from you. Or you could just relax and watch a movie on a display that fills your field of view, all without a single screen in sight. When you get to your destination, you might pay for a coffee just by walking out of the shop, with a system authenticating you passively and securely. Throughout the day, information could flow to you right when you need it. Looking at a historic building might bring up its history. A glance at a product in a store could show you reviews. All of it, completely hand-free. CTA This vision of the future might seem far-fetched, and it might not happen exactly like this, but the seeds are being planted right now. If you're fascinated by how these technologies are evolving, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our deep dives into the gadgets that are paving the way. This future, if it arrives, won't happen overnight. It would be a slow transition where the smartphone becomes less and less central to our daily lives. We can already see the first steps. AI assistants like Siri and Google Assistant are getting smarter. Wearables like smartwatches and fitness trackers are already taking tasks away from our phones. Tech giants are pouring billions into AR glasses and mixed reality headsets. And while still highly experimental, researchers are making real progress with BCIs, which have already helped people with paralysis control robotic limbs. However, the road to this future is packed with enormous challenges. The biggest one is privacy. If our environments and even our bodies are constantly collecting data, who owns it? How do we stop it from being used for invasive advertising or surveillance? The potential for hacking a brain-computer interface is genuinely terrifying. These aren't just technical problems, they are massive ethical dilemmas that we have to solve first. Then there are the social hurdles. Will people even be comfortable with this level of integrated technology? How do we prevent a world where these kinds of enhancements create an even wider gap between the rich and the poor? And on a simpler level, will we just miss having a physical phone to hold? These are tough questions with no easy answers, and getting them right will be just as important as inventing the tech itself. For the last 15 years or so, the smartphone has been our primary portal to the digital world. It's a window we hold in our hands, a powerful tool that has completely reshaped how we live. But every great technological era eventually gives way to something that feels more natural, more integrated, and more human. The next era of tech may not be defined by a single gadget, but by the slow disappearance of gadgets altogether. The world around us could become the interface, and we might interact with it as naturally as we breathe. We may be moving from a world where we stare down at a piece of glass to one where we look up and engage with a reality that has digital layers. The smartphone put a remote control for the world in your pocket. The next 30 years will be about figuring out if we can get rid of the remote and become the interface ourselves.